the Woke-lympics, which is currently going on right now, in fact, isn't it? And so the Woke-lympics has been pretty much the name of the game. It's just about wokeism now. I don't know anything else about the Olympics other than the gender makeup and sexuality of the competitors. I have no idea if anyone's any good.
Well, it's got the first 2 transgender athletes at the Olympics, so one of them's just crashed out.
I was going to save that towards the end of the segment.
Oh, really?
Spoilers,
no,
never mind.
A spoiler.
That's all right.
A spoiler.
Yeah.
So, Laurel Hubbard, who actually transitioned. She transitioned quite late in life. She transitioned at the age of 35 after competing as a male.
Yeah.
So she had all the benefits of having testosterone. It's like a female competitor, like juicing for all those years. So that the bigger skeleton, the bigger frame, and greater
Stronger muscles,
strength,
things like that.
Stronger muscles and everything, and transitioned at the age of 35. So didn't just go through male puberty, went through like male middle age, and has like what I guess we'd have to call female pattern baldness. So
I guess we are going to have to call it that, yeah.
So we can see why there's some controversy. She and the woman she displaced, who would have competed if Laurel hadn't taken her place in the team, was 21-year-old
Samoan lady,
woman of color, which I mean, I'm surprised. The woke is like the really it's interesting to see in the woke hierarchy who's higher than who.
The transgenders appear to be right at the top, don't they? Yeah, I know, yeah. So indigenous women of color, tough luck.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah, you're higher than a 50-year-old white man from like Clerkenwell or something, but you're not as high as the trans.
But if he decides to put on a dress,
you
should have thought about that before being born female, I suppose. But anyway, so the Pink News, Gay Times coverage of this was great. Not this one, that one. Yep. This is brilliant. So, would you like to know who has the gayest team?
I would.
Why not? Why would we talk about anything else about the Olympics?
It's not Saudi Arabia.
No, not this year. Maybe next year. So the British team has 13 openly LGBTQ plus athletes, which is actually deeply inferior to the rest of the English-speaking world. Canada has 33. The Netherlands has 20. But Team USA is the gayest team on Earth with 47 openly gay or lesbian or bisexual or trans or queer or whatever the plus means.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, there's so many letters in that acronym now. Everybody is is one of them, and I see it on Facebook. There's comedians who come out. They say, "Oh, I'm coming out as bisexual or queer or whatever." But I mean, I've never actually had sex with somebody of the same sex or been attracted to them, but I still identify as And
I've been married to my wife for 35 years, but I am bisexual.
I just haven't actually done it, and I've got no respect for that. I think if you can suck a dick, then I'll listen to your point of view. But if you're just doing it to try and be special and try and get some extra special little letters in your Twitter bio, I've got no time.
It is about clout, isn't it? That's the thing. It is about clout. And speaking of clout, the British state media decided that if you said something on social media they don't like, they're going to block you. Do you want to get blocked on Twitter by BBC?
The BBC can block you.
Apparently. This is literally what they say. Can we get up one of those images so we can see the text more clearly? BBC Sport, we want our platforms to be a respectful place for discussion, constructive criticism, debate and opinion. We know the vast majority of our followers want that too, which is probably unlikely, especially on Twitter. So here's our stance. We will block people bringing hate to our comment sections. We will report the most serious cases to the relevant authorities. We will make our accounts kind and respectful places. We will keep growing our coverage, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, the BBC are literally going to block you and report you to the authorities if you reply with things they don't like. So if you're in America, where you can say whatever you like, please be my guest. Please speak for the rest of us because we're literally not allowed.
I'm surprised the BBC don't have hate crime detector vans going around like they do for the TV license detector.
Well, thank you for giving them that idea.
They'll try it in Scotland first.
They will, and the SNP will definitely back it. But anyway, yeah, so the controversial person here is, of course, Laurel Hubbard, because this person gained a lot of attention. Now, this was criticised. Her allowance into this was criticised because this is the first Olympics where the guidelines have allowed openly transgender people to compete in the... Well, it's really just the male to female one that matters because for some reason the female to male transgender Olympians aren't smashing all the men's world records.
No.
Really bizarre. Don't know why that is.
I don't know where she got her gender transition done, but it says there she's got a 135 kilogram snatch. That's got to be one of the larger ones.
I don't know what that means. I understand that might be a technical term.
It snatch is when you. I think it's the snatch is the first bit, and then the clean, and then the jerk.
Right.
Or
okay.
no, the jerk's this bit, isn't it?
I don't know.
No, the snatch has got to be that bit. I don't know either. Right. I don't know either.
But
I was just trying to make a joke.
No. But just before we get deplatformed from everywhere, that is actually a thing, though, isn't it? That is.
It's a weightlifting term.
It's actually
a
weightlifting term. Yeah. It's just really funny.
And it's also a word for your fanny.
It is. Anyway, so this contestant Laurel has been destroying women. Based. If we can go to the next one, just see the picture. This is in 2019 where she won gold at the Pacific Games. Stunning and brave. We can scroll down a bit just so we can see the absolutely crushed faces of the poor ladies that she had defeated. If we go down a little bit more, I think there's a picture in here. There we go. Right. So you can look. I mean, just look at that. Just
They don't look happy.
oh God. I honestly I feel bad for these women. I feel so bad. Look at their faces. You know, all this disappointment, and then someone who was born male just came in and I'll have all the golds.
And the irony is that there are women who are born female who are disqualified from competing at the Olympic Games because they have naturally high levels of testosterone. So Caster Semenya, a fantastic athlete, born female, lived as a woman, identifies as a woman, can't compete. And it seems bizarre because the whole, the Olympics is predicated on people having exceptional natural abilities. So if you have exceptionally high, naturally occurring testosterone, that should be allowed. I'd have thought. Certainly allowed more than being a man and then saying no, I'm a woman and then
I transitioned at 35. Therefore, I'm the authentic woman. But you, who have got slightly high natural testosterone, you are not a woman.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to compete. It's deeply unfair.
Yeah,
it's obviously unfair.
Yeah. And I don't think it's bigoted to say that.
Well,
and also,
I mean, if it is, we're in trouble.
I think it's actually bigoted itself because it stirs up resentment and quite unfair resentment against normal transgender people who don't want to take gold medals away from women, who just want to live in society and
just be left alone
and just be left alone and not have it pointed out.
No, I totally agree. And the thing is, like this is also a meme. If we can get to the next one. There we go. This is literally from South Park.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally what's happening here. And so it turns out that we have symbols of resistance that spring from this. We can get to the next one. Oh, it's not the next one, actually. Never mind. It's fine. Anyway, let's... sorry, don't worry about it. I must put them on afterwards. So anyway, the International Olympic Committee have decided they're going to defend this. And so these guidelines were updated in 2015 that currently state that trans women can compete in the women's category, as you were saying, if they keep their testosterone level below 10 nanomoles per litre for 12 months. How is that done?
And obviously, you only get so they take hormones or hormone blockers that bring the levels of testosterone down.
So the female athletes who are exceptional at the sport have to dope themselves.
Oh no, that's the trans athletes. I'm not sure how female.
Well, no, it's right, yeah. So
like Caster Semenya, right. I'm not sure how she'd get around the restrictions.
Right,
and I know some events do allow her to compete.
Right. Okay.
But the Olympics don't.
Right. Okay. But the thing is, you've got to understand these guidelines are actually transphobic.
Yeah.
And need to go. The complaint here from Dr. Richard Budgett he has admitted that the guidelines are apparently no longer backed by science. So, according to The Guardian, he said, I accept that things move on. At the time, 10 nanomoles per litre was set because we thought that was the lower level for cisgender men. We now know they can get down to 7 nanomoles per litre, and cisgender women can be higher as well. And agreeing on another number is almost impossible and possibly irrelevant. Yeah. You can debate that endlessly. So, basically, they're going to get rid of these.
Right, yeah. And also testing these, I mean, the actual framework and process for testing and making sure that people are below the levels. Because if people take steroids, there's a time when the steroids can leave your system and then you test negative. So a lot of athletes do dope, inject steroids or whatever, and then have a period of being clean and then test negative.
Yeah.
But if it's naturally occurring, how would you test, if you... like had 6 months with higher natural testosterone and then brought yourself back down, how would anybody prove that?
I guess you were just born wrong. It's a real shame there isn't a movement for inclusivity that would allow you to be the person you authentically are. It's a real shame, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, so basically it looks like they're going to get rid of that. But anyway, moving on. The TERFs. How do you feel about the TERFs?
The TERFs. I mean, I think it's quite a derogatory term, and I think a lot of the people who are branded TERFs. I mean, it's interesting how wokeness moves on, and people who would have been considered woke just a couple of years ago are now considered the demon,
right wing evil TERFs.
Yeah. Like so many people, Jermaine Greer, J.K. Rowling, all these people who are considered. When I was growing up, they were the lefty firebrands.
Oh my God, Jermaine Greer was basically a lunatic all through the sort of 90s and 2000s, and now she's a far-right activist.
Yeah,
like, okay.
Yeah, she's somehow managed to, by standing in the same place, she's managed to transfer all the way to the far right.
I mean, I began my career criticizing literally people like Jermaine Greer for their absurd takes on gender relations, and now I'm like, so Jermaine Greer did nothing wrong. She believes that a woman is adult human female, and therefore I'm somehow on her side. It's mad. It's mad. I've been told to flatten the hair on my left. I'm not doing it. My hair can stay up. I'm fine with my hair. Look, I ride a bike into work every day, and so the helmet makes my hair stick up. I can't do anything about it. But anyway, yeah. So the poor old TERFs, and I'm loath to use the term. They call themselves gender critical feminists.
Yeah.
Are obviously saying that, look, this position that Laurel Hubbard is competing in should have been one of those ladies that she destroyed in 2019, and that's not fair. And I can't help but agree. If we can go to the next one, a second, sorry. You see, this is just, you see the physical difference between the teams that someone has pointed out.
I can't see any difference. The only difference I can see is the ones on the left identify as men, and the ones on the right identify as women.
Well, I didn't check their pronouns.
Oh, yeah.
So you might be incredibly transphobic by saying that. But the thing is just, a regular person intuitively can see that there is a physical difference between these people.
It's common sense.
You don't need theory to prove
it. A lot of transgender people are very gender critical as well. I dated a transgender woman, like a super hot one. And she's quite gender critical. She believes there's only two genders. And also, I think a lot of transgender people feel that the transgender people who aren't making an effort aren't,
they're kind of taking the piss, right?
They're kind of taking the piss, yeah. Which I can see as well.
A
lot of transgender people put a huge amount of effort in, have surgeries and hormones and really make themselves pass as their chosen gender. And I've got massive respect for that. I think, if they want to put the effort in, they've got more right to that gender than I do. I was just born with a dick and I ran with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my hand for a bit.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you get, I guess we're going to have to refer to these as the right-wing transgender people.
Yeah.
But they're not here to overthrow the concept of gender.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'd actually just like people to treat me like that. And it's like, okay, well, fine. If you're going to put in a load of effort, I'm not going to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
I'll be polite and, call you she or he or whatever, whatever you've made the effort to do so.
Yeah.
But then when you get the people like Laurel Hubbard who don't seem to have made any effort.
Yeah. Or UFC fighters going in and crushing the skulls of opponents. I mean, it must be a great time to be
Fox, right?
Well, yeah, it must be a great time to be a misogynist because you can literally cheer on a biological male smashing up a woman, and you're being the woke progressive. You're being the good person.
That's unironically what's happening. That's actually what the TERFs are complaining about. So look, this and. Honestly, I kind of think they've got a point.
Yeah.
Sorry, when biologically male people are cracking the skulls of women in the arena, I'm like, okay, maybe we need to have a talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I've been told I hate women a lot, but even I have limits. But the thing about this, and I find this really interesting, is that they will have no opposition to the narrative.
Yeah.
Right? So there was a petition started for people saying, well, look, can we please have biologically male people competing in men's sports? And the petition got 30,000 signatures, and the petition was then deplatformed.
Right, so the people hosting the petition took it down because they said it. And that's shocking because obviously a lot of
hate
people...
speech as well.
it's not hate speech. It's got to be open debate. Like open debate. This is the thing we see with the woke. Any sort of questions are seen as criticism, and any sort of debate is seen as hate speech.
Yeah.
So it stifles and silences, really necessary debate. If we're talking about, biological males competing against women in contact sports or at the Olympics, or if we're talking about putting puberty blockers and hormones into children, like we're storing up some problems for the future.
Oh yeah.
I think in 10 years time, 20 years time, we're going to have an issue with people who are sort of led into transitioning, because 86% of children who think they might be trans or display signs of being trans revert to their biological gender, and what it's like when kids aren't sort of sexualized and don't know what your gender is. You can play with dolls. Like one of my mates played with a Barbie when he was a kid. Like his dad didn't yank him by the arm and take him down the gender transition clinic. We should just let kids be kids.
That's right. Chop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It literally happens. There's a kid in America. I can't remember his name, but he was on a documentary about it, and so he on his first visit to the gender transition clinic, he was given a prescription for hormones, and it was like his third visit they booked him in for surgery. A teenage boy, and like now
3 visits.
Yeah, now
surgery after 3 visits.
Yeah. I mean, I'd
mad.
fact check that, but I'm pretty sure.
I've heard other stories like that as well,
Yeah.
and like, have you ever read any of the detransitioning stories?
Yeah.
Like the regret stories. And,
Yeah.
oh my God, there's nothing more heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like and so all I'm saying is we better be pretty sure that we're right about all of this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to have a lot of people who are going to be like, ow, that really betrayed me. And, that ruined my life.
Yeah. And what woke progressives don't seem to realize is that what is considered the correct values and the correct belief system is progressing. That's why they're called progressives. So how can they be so certain that we've suddenly arrived at this one point where everything's perfect? When I know for a fact next week there's going to be a whole new bunch of pronouns. There's going to be a whole new identity at the top of the oppression pyramid. It's all going to change again.
That's a great point. It's a revolutionary paradigm, isn't it? The entire paradigm is built around constant change.
Yeah.
So you can't sit there and go, no, it's definitely like this.
Yeah.
With any kind of certitude. That's a really good point. I hadn't framed it that way. It's great. But anyway, so this is on NBC News, who want to talk about the female athletes, which I find is a very interesting way of framing it, because how would you know? Because, you're not bigots, are you? But there's one Costa Rican gymnast who seems to have been picked out as the person who is presenting I was going to say theology, and now I've said it, I feel it's actually the correct word, the theology of the left on this. So this is Luciana Alvarado, who she carried the torch of protesting racial equality in Tokyo. She is a gymnast, and she did her routine and then took the knee, placing her left hand behind her back and raising her fist into the air, saying, "We're all the same, we're all beautiful and amazing." It's actually not the purpose of the Olympics, as I understand it.
Yeah, isn't it to find out who's best?
Yeah, exactly. Who's most remarkable and not the same as the other people. And that's what she's competing for. But this is the theory that lies underneath it. And I just find this really interesting. But this is the first year that political and social demonstrations in the Olympics have been allowed.
Right.
And so basically I'm kind of expecting Eastern Europe to do something edgy.
To burn a pride flag or something.
Yeah. Or I mean, like what was it, the 36 Olympics? The football in 36, where the England team did the Nazi salute. Well, I'm kind of expecting things like that to happen.
Yeah. I mean,
this time, next time.
This is the danger. If you open the door to political, like statements, then that's what you're going to get. And I just think sports people should be left to focus on the sport. It's like all these gender studies students on Twitter were criticising Tyson Fury for his opinions on, homosexuality and gender and women and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but like, you're a gender studies student. You've spent 4 years perfecting your opinions on gender and women and stuff. Yeah. Tyson Fury spends all his time perfecting punching people in the head. And he's really good at punching people in the head. So why aren't you getting any shit for being bad at punching people in the head?
That's a great point. And why are you taking him as some sort of moral authority on gender studies?
Yeah.
You know, why are you treating him as if his opinion on that matters? It
Yeah.
affects you, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, the activism continued at the Olympics with Gwendolyn Berry, who decided to compete with the US and then turn away from the flag after she lost. This was obvious sort of, you know, like genuine sort of anti-patriotism that's really weird, but she decided screw that. Is that okay? She literally said, "My purpose and mission is bigger than sports. I'm here to represent those who died due to systemic racism." Actually, I think you were there to represent the United States in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But what do I know, you know?
I mean, it's so weird. It's like having a politician who then, like, you know, instead of doing a political speech, does, you know, 4 laps of the track or something. It's, you know, just...
Actually, no, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Come on, Keir.
Yeah, there is actually a refugee. I think I'm right in saying this. There's a refugee. If you're from a country that you can't represent because they're a dictatorship or something, you can then take part in the sort of exile refugee.
Really?
There's a group of athletes.
I did not know that.
I'm sure that's true, and I didn't just make it up.
Well, they'll be nice to know that they've got a new symbol, in fact. We can get to the next one. This is Raven Saunders, who protested by putting her hands up in a cross, as if, you know, the sort of thing you do to a prisoner, it seems. And so when asked what this symbol means, this X, they responded, "It's the intersection of where all people who are oppressed meet." So that is the general symbol of oppression, crossing your arms now.
Intersectionality.
Yes, the intersection of just being oppressed. So anyway, this at least got some response from people like Bill Maher, who's like the last good liberal on the left. Don't turn the Olympics into the Oscars. Too late. Far too late. And yeah, so that's
and it's affecting their viewing figures. So it's the lowest.
Massive.
It's got the lowest viewing figures
Yep.
since the invention of television,
Yep.
I believe.
just like the Oscars.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
like
So
the
it's-
Oscars.
and just like the NFL, the
Yep.
NBA, like everything that goes woke. You know, goes people. Even though people might ostensibly on Twitter support it, secretly they think it's rubbish.
Twitter isn't real life. It doesn't represent what a person wants to do with their afternoon.
People
does it?
really need to learn. Like, I've never understood why companies and people cave into Twitter mobs so much when it's just, you know, you wouldn't go walk down Woolwich High Street and see like the crazy guy with the sandwich board saying the end of the world is nigh and like be like, oh my God, this guy, we've got to listen to what this guy says. He's shouting really loud.
Yeah.
You know, although actually now, you know, people would say, well, he's an environmentalist. So
That's what they would say. Yeah. He would
Just
doubtless have a
member of that
Green Party.
death cult.
Oh, God. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.